Hi everyone. Hello. Good morning. A very good morning to all. I hope you all are doing very well. This is Yashika back again with Swiflearn, India's most sincere learning destination for classes 1 to 10. So, I hope you all are excited for this new session. We are back with this new lesson that is going to be very useful for you. We know that it's your exam time and you really require these sessions. So, we are here on your demand with a new session and, of course, a new lesson. So, once again, I extend a very warm welcome to you on Swiflearn, that is India's most sincere learning destination for classes 1 to 10. As you already know, that Swiflearn is going to provide you 100% live and interactive classes. So please emphasize on both the words live and interactive. Also, you are going to get personalized attention with maximum number of 6 students. So don't you feel it is so interesting and it is going to be so much fun to learn along with all your peers and teachers where you will get personalized attention, right? And on the top of that, you will also get a dedicated academic mentor team that is going to track your progress and work on your qualities, and they will be always there to help you. Finally, you would be thinking that what about our school syllabus? Is Swiflearn going to cover our school syllabus? Yes. So Swiflearn covers your syllabus as per your school exam, and also we handle some custom requests. So what is custom request here? Custom request is that we handle your special request also. If you have any special request, then do let us know. All right. So this was all about Swiflearn. I hope you all are ready and energized for the session. We are now going to start with our new and interesting lesson. So this is Yashika, your friend, your guide, your mentor, and your teacher. And we are going to start with a new lesson. Before we start, let's just quickly have a look on the key features of Swiflearn, where you will get detailed progress reports. Progress reports are so important to know that where we stand and what is the scope of improvement. Right. And you can also participate and take part in Swiflearn Academic Test Series, that is SATS SATs. As I already told you in the previous session, SATs is a competitive exam where you can participate and improve your competitive skills. And you can also win a chance to win a scholarship. So now finally, you can also take unlimited practice tests, and the most important thing that I would like to emphasize here, that we not only provide objective tests, but we also provide subjective tests for school exams. So isn't it interesting? Subjective test for school examination, right? So it is going to be a very nice opportunity for you to join Swiflearn. So what are you waiting for? Please book a free trial class at Swiflearn by logging on to www.swiflearn.com. All right. So now moving forward, please like, share and comment on this video. Share this video with as many people as possible so that they can also get benefited from this video. All right. So now we are finally going to start with the lesson of the day. And what is it? Today we are here with a different lesson. And what is this? Motion and measurement of distance part 1. So, motion and measurement of distance. Wow, a new lesson. Yesterday we had completed living organisms, their characteristics and habitats session 2, which was the final session on that. And now, here we are going to start with motion and measurement of distance. So, please note that this is the part 1 of this lesson and part 2 will be coming very soon. Now, First of all, before we proceed with the lesson, what do we need to understand that what is the meaning of motion and what is measurement of distance? So now the meaning of these words are hidden in the words itself. Motion. If something is in motion, it is said to be in movement. When something is moving, it is said to be in motion. Right? And what is measurement of distance? Like so many times it happens, you travel along, you go to some hill stations to travel, or you go to beach or anywhere else you go for a vacation, right? So what do? First you check it out that how far you need to go. So what is the distance? So first we check it in kilometers, that what is the distance that we need to travel. And while we are on our way, we always check on Google Maps that now how much distance is left, how many kilometers are left to be traveled. So this is called measurement of your distance. All right. So now we are going to learn more about motion. Motion means how things move, and also we are going to learn how people used to measure this distance in ancient times when we did not have anything to measure, and how people used to move from one place to another. This is the very first question that we are going to answer today. So, we are going to start with the story of transport. So, this is going to be a very interesting storytelling session for you, and storytelling is always fun, right? So, we are going to make this session very interesting for you. You will learn the story of transport. You will get to know the difference between how people used to travel in the ancient times, how do they travel now, and what are the changes that have taken place in these years. All right. So, without wasting more time, we are going to move forward. So, these are the learning objectives for this lesson. First, we are going to define what is transport, what transport is. All right. And what are the uses of transport. Then, we will also learn the invention of wheel. This is something very important and interesting to know, that we did not have wheels in the ancient times, right? Nowadays you can see wheels in cars, you can see wheels in almost every automobile, and no automobile can work without wheel, right? But there used to be a time when we did not have wheel, right? And then the game changed when the wheel was invented. So this is what we would be doing today. ये आज हम करेंगे. And then of course you will learn about how transportation started, how this journey started, and today we are here in this era when we are inventing spaceships and rockets, and we are sending spaceships to space. People are traveling to moon. So technology has advanced a lot. So you will learn the difference between everything. And now let's start with this beautiful session. All right. So as you can see, we have a map of our country given on the screen, right? And two places are being highlighted on this map. Here you have Mumbai, and here you have Vishakhapatnam. All right. So you have these two places, and if I tell you that I want to travel from Mumbai to Vishakhapatnam, so how do I do that? How will I reach there? Of course, you would say that, ma'am, we can go by any means of transport. We can go by using car. We can go by using a train, right? And you can see so many areas and regions will come in between. Here you have Pune, here you have Solapur, Sikandrabad, Wadi, right? And you have so many places. So don't you feel that in earlier times how people used to travel? What were the ways that they used to follow? Right? So this is something that we are going to do. We will travel back in time and learn how did they used to travel. All right. So now, number 1, in modern time, if you want to travel somewhere right now in the modern time, let's say you want to go to your school, or you would like to go to a mall or anywhere else in your city or your town, how do you reach there? You can go by an airplane? No. If you are going to a very nearby place, we don't require an airplane. Yes, we can definitely go by a car. And yes, there are some local trains in some cities which make you travel from one place to another, right? Otherwise, we use trains to travel to distant places, right? Where the distance is more. All right. So it depends on the distance that which vehicle you're going to use to travel. If the distance is more, you will use airplane. If the distance is less, you can travel by a car too, or you can also go by walking. And if again the distance is more, then you can use trains. So these are some means of transport that we use in the modern time. हम इनको अभी use करते हैं, right? So this is something about modern time. But now the question comes, what about ancient time? When people do not have any means of transport, they did not have any means of transport. Can you look at this beautiful and interesting picture? These people, they are from the ancient society, right? They are looking so different from us. Is this the way we look these days? No. Why? Because everything has evolved. We have evolved. We have developed. Now we have proper means of clothing. Now we have proper means of grooming ourselves. But they did not have all these things with them in the ancient times. Right? तो ये पहले होता था. As you can see from the picture itself, this is a picture from the ancient time when people did not have any means of transport to travel. But travel to karna hai, right? So if they did not have any means of transported travel, then how did they travel? They used to move only on foot. Can you see how they are moving on their foot and they are carrying loads? Right. So they used to move on foot and they carry goods on their backs. So I really feel that this would have been very tough for them. Number one, moving on your foot for so long distances, and on the top of that, carrying goods on their backs. It would have been so tough for them, na? Right? But later, what did they start? Everybody evolves. So they started evolving. They started using animals for transportation. So this is the first change that took place. ये पहली चीज जो यहाँ change हुई कि उन्होंने animals को use करने लग गए वो transportation के लिए. When they felt that it is not possible to travel on foot for so long distances and on the top of that carrying goods, so they started using animals for transportation. So do you know or do you have any idea what kind of animals they might have used? What kind of animals, which animals they might have used to carry loads? Any idea? If you know that, then please type in the comment box, right? Bullocks, horses, camels, so many animals they could have used in the ancient times to transport goods, right? Now, we talk about early men and we talked about that they used to travel on foot and then finally they used to transport the goods on animals. तो ये हमने एक evolution की बात करी. अब next topic, the thing that we are going to do is you will give some examples of different modes of transportation. All right. So what could be the possible different modes of transportation जिनसे हम travel कर सकते हैं? Who will tell me? I am waiting for your answers in the comment box. Please tell me what could be the examples of different modes of transportation. कौन से different modes of transportation हो सकते हैं हम जिनका use करके travel करेंगे? Right? Very easy. Just think about how do you go to school? How do you go to mall? How do you go for a vacation to Goa? Or how do you go for a vacation to Kashmir? Think of all these different modes of transport. And think of some different examples that what if you are not able to travel somewhere by car. अगर आप कहीं कार के थ्रू नहीं जा पा रहे, so what could be the other option? और अगर आप कहीं एयरप्लेन के थ्रू नहीं जा पा रहे, you are not able to travel through airplane, then what could be the other option? Think about it and do let me know in the comment box. So now let's discuss these possible means of transport. Number one, cycle. The most basic. So who likes to ride cycle here? I really like to ride cycle even now. Cycling is my favorite sport. If you also like cycling, then type yes in the chat box. Now, cycle. After cycle, we have animal cart. So, animal carts are being used these days also, if you would observe. I have observed a number of times that animal carts are being used these days. So this is something that we use these days too. Now, riding on animals, like riding on a horse or riding on a camel or riding on elephant, this is something we do for fun. Although it is not very good for the animals, if I keep animal sensitivity in my mind, so riding on animals is not a very good practice because in some or the other way it hurts them, right? But in some regions of our country, people don't have any option, so they do have to ride on animals. Now, we talk about boat. Yes, of course. Boat is another transport with which we can travel. Now, we can have a bike, right? Car, bus, train, helicopter, and airplane. So many means of transport we have these days which we can use and travel with the help of them. Right. But do you feel that just like we can ride a cycle on land, animal carts could be used on land, and we can also ride on animals on land? Can we use a boat on land, or can we use helicopter on land? Can we use airplane on land? No. So, transport is divided into different parts. We have land transport, we have air transport, and of course, we do have water transport. So, there are different means of transport according to the medium in which we travel. अगर वो medium land है, so that is land transport. अगर वो medium water है, so that is water transport. अगर वो medium air hai, so that is air transport. So as you can see here, helicopter and we talk about airplane, these two are air transport, right? And now talking about cycle, cycle is on land, so it is on land transport. Animal cart again on land, riding animals again on land, boat in water, bike on land, car on land, bus on land, train again railway, and now airplane again in air, right? So now you got to know we have land transport, water transport, and air transport. So that is great. So we have differentiated between different types of transport, and let's move forward. Hi Shreya. Hello Harish. So we are not having any Menti quiz right now, Harish. So we are having the session, and I hope that you would enjoy and like this session. We will definitely try to get some quizzes for you too. So let's quickly complete this session, and we will definitely try to provide you quizzes too. All right. So moving forward, we talked about all the means of transport. Now, what is means of transport? I had already told you. Means of transport means the things that we use to travel, the medium that we use to travel, right? The vehicles that you use to carry goods and that you use to travel from one place to another is called means of transport. All right. So this was the definition of means of transport. You can note it down as per your convenience so that you can write in your exam too. All right. So now moving forward, we talked about a lot of means of transport. Now the thing that comes here, how the transportation started. What is the story? This interesting and engaging story that we have in this lesson, that how did the transportation start? Right. So now quickly let's start with this beautiful story of transportation. So history of means of transport. Do you know that before the invention of wheel and for most of the history, the major means of transport was walking? Yes, you know that. I had already told you in the beginning of the session that yes, when we did not have any means of transport, we used to walk on foot, and people used to carry stuff around their back. right? So don't you feel it would have been very tough for them? But then what happened? They started using animals to transport themselves and their stuff. So evolution from walking on foot to transporting goods on animals, right? And then we had to get some stuff across water also. Can you see these men traveling across water? They are carrying loads on their head and traveling across the sea, across the ocean. But how are they doing that? I can't even imagine this thing at this time, at this point of time, that how did they used to travel across water? It would have been so tough for them. But then again, evolution. The one who evolves is the one who survives. Right? Again, people evolve themselves. They try to discover something new. So, what was the first invention? They made boats with hollowed big log of wood. उन्होंने एक बड़ी सी log of wood के साथ एक boat बनाई that could cross the river. Okay, so they tried to make things easier for them. तो सबसे पहले उन्होंने ये बेसिक बोट बनाई. Then what happened? Again a change. They learned to make a shaft by binding multiple logs of wood. अब उन्होंने सबसे पहले एक big hollow log of wood से एक बोट बनाई. Now what did they do? They learned to make a shaft by binding different multiple logs of wood. As you can see in the previous picture, only one big hollow log of wood is visible here, right? Now if you will compare it to this picture, you will find here that here multiple logs of wood are joined together. So what could be the possible reason for this? अब ये multiple log of wood हम क्यों use कर रहे हैं? एक log of wood से भी तो काम चल सकता था ना. So they tried to make a shaft to make things easier for them, so that it would be easier for the boat to travel through the water, right? अब However, these floaties were not very good for long distance water travel. They couldn't travel very long with the help of these floaties. Floaties means these basic boats that we had. The first one in which we had one log of wood, and the other shaft in which we had multiple logs of wood. So these were not very satisfactory. तो हमने क्या किया? Again, now we have to change. Change is the rule of society. We really need to change according to the situation. तो फिर हमने क्या किया? We developed boats that were similar in shape to fish. अब हमने ऐसा क्यों करा? हमने बोट तो बनाई, but why did we make boats that were similar to the shape of a fish? Any idea? कौन मुझे बताएगा? Who will tell me that why did we make boats that were similar in the shape of fish, just like this? Who will tell me? Why only the shape of fish? Why we did not use any other shape? ऐसा क्यों? Think of it. Think of some examples, think of some answers, explore, rack your brains. This why should always be there in your mind. कौन बताएगा मुझे that why boats were made in the shape of fish? I'm waiting for the answer. Shreya, I would like to get an answer from you. कौन बताएगा मुझे? Yes? All right. So if you really know that why did boats have the shape of fish, then let me know in the comment box and I will definitely respond to you. All right. Now I will tell you that we made boats that were similar in shape to fish because a fish has a streamlined body. What's the meaning of streamlined body structure here? Streamlined body structure means the body structure of a fish is made and designed in such a way that it becomes easier for the fish to cut through water and paddle through it. Do you know that? Even birds have same kind of structure in their body. Why? Because even birds have to cut through air and travel forward. right? So this streamlined body structure of birds and fish helps them to cut through water and to cut through the air to travel easily. So this is the reason why we designed the boats in the shape of the body of a fish, and then these boats could paddle through water easily. So this was the reason why we gave this shape to the boats. All right. So now I gave you the reason. Now, have you ever wondered that why the shape of an airplane is like a bird? Like a bird has feathers, we could also see the shape of an airplane, and airplanes also seems to be having feathers like that, right? So have you ever wondered that why airplanes have the shape similar to birds and why boats have shapes similar to fish? This is only because the body of a fish and the body of a bird is designed in such a way to cut through the water and to cut through the air very easily and travel forward. So, this was the reason that I told you. Now, moving forward, when we made these fish like boats with better understanding, we built bigger and bigger boats. अब हम बड़ी से बड़ी boats बनाते गए so that we can transport more and more goods and more people can travel at a time. Right? Now, finally, what happened? We talked about the making of these boats, how people started making boat with the help of one log of wood, then multiple logs of wood, then the shape of a fish, then the boats that could paddle in water. Finally, the whole game changed when the invention of wheel took place. So this beautiful invention of wheel actually made our lives very very easier, right? So the invention of wheel made a bigger change in the modes of transport. Now, why? Again, this question comes. Why? Why? Why wheel is so important and what is the purpose that wheel serves? Now, I would like to give you a very nice example. Let's suppose you have a huge box. Okay, you have a huge box to be moved from one place to another. आपको एक बहुत बड़े and heavy box को एक जगह से दूसरी जगह लेकर जाना है. All right, and I tell you to push it, drag it, and take it from one place to another. Don't you feel it is going to be very tiring and very tough for you to move that huge box from one place to another just by dragging or pushing it? Now, the second situation is I am going to install some wheels below that box. अब मैं उस box के नीचे कुछ wheels लगा दूंगी. All right, the rolling wheels. Now try and push that box. Try to move from one place to another. अब क्या होगा? You will be able to move that box very very easily. पर ऐसा क्यों हुआ कि पहले तो मैं उसको पुश कर रही थी, कितना भी फोर्स अप्लाई कर रही थी, आई वॉज नॉट एबल टू डिस्प्लेस इट, बट जस्ट व्हेन आई यूज्ड व्हील्स बिलो दैट बॉक्स everything changed and I was able to move that box beautifully and so easily. So ये जो wheel है उसने करा क्या? It reduced the friction between the box and the surface. All right. So frictional force is the force that comes into play when two surfaces come in contact with each other. तो जब मैं आपको बॉक्स और सरफेस का एग्जाम्पल दे रही थी तब कौन से दो सरफेस थे? वन वॉज द बॉक्स एंड अदर वॉज द फ्लोर. तो वो दोनों सरफेस दे रब पास्ट ईच अदर एंड द फोर्स ऑफ फ्रिक्शन एक्ट्स हियर. सो जितना ज्यादा फ्रिक्शन है उतनी इतनी ज्यादा आपको प्रॉब्लम होगी उसको मूव करने में. फ्रिक्शन को इंक्रीज करोगे आप जितना ज्यादा, it will become more difficult for you to move anything or displace anything. और friction जितना कम है उसको हम जितना reduce करेंगे, it would be easier for us to displace things. All right. So just imagine कि why do we have trolleys, right? We have some luggages and we have some bags, in them we have wheels which we call trolleys. क्यों है उनमें wheels? Why we are not able to move those luggages or bags as it is? Wheels का क्या use होता है उनमें? On airports you have seen that people carry their luggage with wheels over them. So wheel का यही काम है, to reduce the friction, right? So अब जिससे कि इजीली चीजें मूव हो सके, टू एड द मूवमेंट हमने व्हील का इन्वेंशन किया. सो विद द हेल्प ऑफ दिस ब्यूटिफुल एग्जाम्पल एंड आई ऑल्सो टोल्ड अबाउट फ्रिक्शनल फोर्स, नाउ आई होप दिस कंसेप्ट इज वेरी क्लियर टू यू दैट व्हाई इन्वेंशन ऑफ व्हील वाज अ गेम चेंजर इन द स्टोरी ऑफ ट्रांसपोर्ट. ओके, तो अब हम आगे ये देखते हैं, लेट्स अराउज अ क्यूरियोसिटी, और अब हम आगे ये देखते हैं कि कैसे ये व्हील का इन्वेंशन हुआ. So it is supposed that one day early man saw a round stone. Early men, the ancient men, उन्होंने क्या देखा? एक round stone था. It was rolling down the hill. As you can see in this picture, a round stone is rolling down and down and down the hill. All right. So from this, he got the idea of a wheel. कि क्यों ना मैं कुछ ऐसा बनाऊं जो रोल हो सके. अगर वो रोल होगा तो हम कितनी इजीली चीजों को एक जगह से दूसरी जगह ट्रांसपोर्ट कर सकेंगे. क्योंकि वो रोल होगा तो फ्रिक्शन रिड्यूस होगा, और फ्रिक्शन रिड्यूस होगा सो थिंग्स विल बी एबल टू मूव वेरी इजीली. Right. So, don't you feel that the early man was so intelligent and so inquisitive? Right. उनमें भी काफी ज्यादा इंटेलिजेंस थी, तब उनके माइंड में ये व्हील का कॉन्सेप्ट आया. अब आगे देखते हैं. First, the wheel must have been a round piece of stone, but that was too heavy. Alright. So पहले उन्होंने जो wheel को देखा which was rolling down off the hill, it was a round piece of stone. But really just think of it that a round piece of stone must be very heavy, very, very heavy. Right. So it is not very easy and it's not feasible for us to use a round piece of stone. तो अब नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन क्या आया होगा फिर एंशियंट मैन के माइंड में, कि अब मुझे व्हील का आइडिया तो आ गया, आई गॉट दिस आइडिया ऑफ व्हील इन माय माइंड, पर अब मुझे इसको लाइटर बनाना है. आई हैव टू मेक इट लाइटर, राइट, बिकॉज द स्टोन व्हील इज वेरी वेरी हैवी टू बी यूज्ड. तो अब उन्होंने क्या सोचा, देन ही थॉट ऑफ यूजिंग वुड एंड ही मेड अ व्हील यूजिंग राउंड लॉग्स ऑफ वुड. कैन यू सी? This is a wheel made of round logs of wood. All right. So slowly he improved its design and made it lighter and lighter in weight. Of course, when things become lighter in weight, it becomes easier for us to carry them forward, right? So this we had done for our own convenience. So now just look at this wheel. आप पहले इस wheel को देखिए. This wheel seems so heavy and this wheel seems so tough to be displaced. Now look at this wheel. It feels like and it seems like a nice and improved version of the earlier wheel, right? Okay, so now we discussed about this game changer invention of wheel, right? From stone to wood. But then, what did early men start doing? They started using these wheels to pull animal carts. अब ये wheels हम use करने लग गए कब? एनिमल कार्ड्स को पुल करने के लिए, राइट. व्हाई? अब जस्ट इमेजिन कि अब एनिमल्स जो हैं वो कार्ट को पुल कर रहे हैं, और अगर उसमें व्हील है तो फ्रिक्शन रिड्यूस होगा, तो एनिमल्स को भी कम मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी और जो हमारा लोड है वो भी बहुत जल्दी फॉरवर्ड हम लेकर जा सकते हैं, right? So this is something and this is the purpose that wheel has served in our life. तो ये wheel देखने में तो बहुत easy और बहुत basic चीज लगती है, but it has made life very very easier for us. तो अब हम आगे चलते हैं. We were talking about the story of wheel. Now we talked about the rolling stone, the invention of wheel, how people used to make boats, how people used animals in earlier times to carry goods. But Until the beginning of 19th century, we depended on animals, we depended on boats, we depended on ships to travel across and to transport goods, right? But then a change took place. Then what was invented? A very nice and useful vehicle that was invented for us, which was steam engine. So this was again a game changer in the history of transport, in the story of transport. I hope you all are enjoying this beautiful story of transport and history of transport. So, you must have heard about means of transport almost anywhere and everywhere. But here we have got the complete history and beautiful story of transport for you. So, I hope you are really liking it and enjoying with me. If yes, then please let me know in the comment box. So we will try to improve the experience for you. All right. अब जब बात आई है स्टीम इंजन की, so let's just quickly have a look. Railroads were made for steam engine. Railroads, like, of course, the rails and the trains, they can only travel on rails ना, they can only travel on railway track. मैं उनको road पे तो travel नहीं करवा सकती. So अब क्या आया होगा? Second thing, when the steam engine was invented, at that time the next question was to make railroads. तो हमने railroads बनाई, railway tracks बनाए. Although railway tracks of that time were not very improved and not very improved, and they were not of very good quality, but still they were good to go at that time. Railroads were made, steam engine, and steam engines were driven carriages and wagons. अब देखो, ये हमारा यहाँ पर क्या है? Here is a steam engine. आप ये रेल रोड देख पा रहे हैं यहाँ? Just have a look. This gives you a glimpse of the history of transport, how railroads used to look like. It is looking so interesting and amazing. And can you see how steam engines are, they are driving carriages and wagons over them? So this is something very nice and interesting to be seen. And now when you see, now we even have metro in cities, right? Metro train. The things have evolved, things have changed. So steam engine was invented long ago, and it also acted as a game changer for us. Hi Vinod, thank you for joining this session. I hope you are enjoying it. Now moving forward. अब सबसे पहले हमने शुरुआत कहाँ से करी? We started from walking on foot. We used to carry stuff on our back. Then we used to travel across the sea. We felt the need of boats. We made a few boats with one log of wood. Then we made boats and shafts with multiple logs of wood. Then we gave the shape of a fish. हमने उन boats को fish की shape देने लग गए. Then what happened? Then the game changer. We invented wheel. The wheel was first made of stone. Then we changed it. We made it lighter. We started using wood. And again a game changer. The invention of steam engine. Then we made what? We made railroads so that the steam engines can travel on them. Right? And now finally, then came these automobiles that are being displayed on the screen. Scooter, car, bus, trucks, all running on fuel and using motor. So they are called automobiles. उनके अंदर मोटर है. And how are they running? They are running on fuel. Yes, of course, when they are running, they need energy to run, right? What is your fuel? आपका fuel क्या है? You also need energy to work, study and play. So food is your fuel, right? Food keeps you going. Food keeps you energetic. Similarly, हमारे automobiles, हमारे जो vehicles हैं, वो भी किस पर चलते हैं? They also survive on fuel and they have a motor on them. So did you see the evolution of transport? So interesting. कहाँ से कहाँ तक हम आ गए, and this has been quite a great and long journey for us, right? So the story of transport is not ended yet. अब आगे क्या है? Even the boats and ships are now running on motor. Right? Earlier we did not have something like motor. Everything was so basic, right? But ab, even the boats and ships are running on motor, and now you have huge boats of metal. You remember we made boats of wood in the ancient times, and now we have made boats of metal that are very huge and that float on water, right? Okay, so this was about the invention of wheel and the story of transport. Now, after talking about this, can you see this beautiful thing on the screen? Today, we even have beautiful cruises in which are floating in cities, hotels, malls, and pools, right? So, have you ever experienced going on a cruise? Yes. If yes, then please type in the comment box. And it looks so fascinating and so beautiful. Even I would like to travel on a cruise one day, right? I hope even you would like to do that. So this is such a big ship you can see on the screen. Oh God. And what do you have inside this beautiful huge ship? You have floating cities with hotels, malls and pools. Can you even imagine? There was a time when we used to make boats out of logs of wood, right? And now there's a time when we have this huge ship that has hotels in it, that has malls in it, and it has some beautiful swimming pools in it. Wow, interesting. Look how far we have come, right? This journey hasn't been very easy, but we have really come very far. But now, even now, if you will have a look at the shape of this, it is still having the shape of a fish, right? And I have already told you the reason. Why do we give this fish like shape to these vehicles? Just to cut through water easily. It becomes easier for the ship to cut through water. All right. So now moving forward, after talking about the invention of wheel, invention of boat, invention of steam engine, invention of cruise, now we are going to talk about the development of aeroplane. अब हम बात करेंगे aeroplane की development की. So the early years of 1900, in the early years of 1900, airplane was developed. Can you see how this basic airplane looks like? Right? And nowadays, when we look at the airplanes, they are so developed, they are so beautiful and fascinating, right? So it took some time for aeroplanes to carry passengers and stuff, but nowadays traveling by airplane is considered as the most convenient means of transport. आपको लगता है ना कि अब अगर हमें कहीं भी ट्रैवल करना है, so airplane is going to be the first choice. Is it is considered as the most convenient means of transport by everybody nowadays, right? So even I feel so. Although I feel a little scared while traveling by airplane, but that's okay since it saves a lot of time and it's very easier to travel through an airplane. Now, moving forward, we developed airplanes, we invented airplanes after the ships and boats. But now we wanted to cross vacuum. We are never going to stop. You know, this is the rule of society. We have to change and change according to the needs and situation. So when we developed and invented aeroplane, जब हमने aeroplane को develop करा, अब हमारे माइंड में क्या आया? नाउ वी वांट टू क्रॉस द वैक्यूम. हमें वैक्यूम क्रॉस करना है, हमें वो एक लेयर ऑफ एटमॉस्फेयर को क्रॉस करना है, उसके आगे जाना है. और कहाँ ट्रैवल करना है? वी वांटेड टू गो टू मून, वी वांटेड टू गो टू स्पेस. वी हैव डिफरेंट लेयर्स ऑफ एटमॉस्फेयर. आपने ये ग्रेड 6 ज्योग्राफी में पढ़ा होगा. You have different layers of atmosphere, like you have the stratosphere, you have ionosphere. Okay, you have different लेयर्स ऑफ एटमॉस्फेयर और हर लेयर का अपना फंक्शन होता है और आपको इन लेयर्स से ट्रैवल करके इनके आगे जाना पड़ता है. ऑल राइट, सो नाउ अब हमें ये वैक्यूम लेयर को क्रॉस करना था और हमें कहाँ जाना था, मून पर, हमें कहाँ जाना था, स्पेस में. सो फॉर दी दिस पर्पस दीज बेसिक एरोप्लेन्स कुडंट बी यूज्ड. आप ये बेसिक एयरप्लेन्स को यूज नहीं कर सकते टू ट्रैवल टू मून, टू ट्रैवल टू स्पेस. तो फिर क्या आया, अगेन अ गेम चेंजर. We developed spaceships and we developed rockets, right? Can you see how a spaceship is being launched here, right? So now you must have seen a lot of times, like India has also developed a lot of these, right? So many times we get to know. So if you know any of them or you are having any names in your mind, do let me know in the comment box, right? It is going to be very nice for you. Now, अब हमारे माइंड में क्या आया कि जब हमें स्पेस में जाना है, हमें मून पे ट्रैवल करना है, सो वी विल डेवलप spaceships, right? So can you imagine this journey, starting from walking on foot to developing and inventing spaceships? Something really, really interesting, right? Now, the next thing, can anybody tell me who was the person or who were the people who developed airplanes? क्या आप उनका नाम जानते हैं जिन्होंने एरोप्लेन को डेवलप किया? People who discovered and invented airplane? If yes, then please let me know in the comment box. I really want you to answer this. And if you don't know, then explore the answer. I'll come back in the next session and definitely ask you for the answer. Who invented the first airplane? Okay. All right. So now moving forward, we discussed the whole story, the journey of traveling from foot to the journey of developing spaceships. Now, it's the modern era. It's the modern time. Can you name some new means of transport that we use today? हम अब कौन से means of transport use करते हैं जो पहले हम नहीं करते थे? Who will tell me? So, some new means of transport that we use today are electric scooters. Right? We did not used to have electric scooters at that time. We have battery operated scooters as well. Right? We have battery rickshaws as well these days. E-rickshaw which we call them. तो पहले e-rickshaw जैसी कोई चीज नहीं होती थी. Right? We used to have that cycle rickshaw in the earlier times. Now we have monorail, we have supersonic airplanes, we also have metro trains, right? So this is the journey and this is the evolution of man from traveling from foot to traveling on these new means of transport. This is so great and fascinating to understand how we have evolved over a period of time, right? This evolution is just commendable. Now, moving forward. What did we discuss about today? आज हमने क्या discuss किया? This whole story of transport, this whole beautiful history of transport we have discussed about. So let's quickly have a look and revise the story and then we will be coming to a few questions for your revision. जल्दी से हम एक flashback करते हैं and here we go. Yes. So we started from here, right? How people used to travel in ancient times. They used to travel on foot and carry their load. Then we talked about different types of transport. All these were the types of transport that we talked about: cycle, car, bike, etc. Then we talked about what is a means of transport: vehicles that we use to carry people and goods from one place to another. This is called transport. अब जब हम आगे गए तो हमने पूरी ट्रांसपोर्टेशन की स्टोरी पढ़ी, the history of means of transport, right? How people used to carry loads on their back, then they started using animals for that purpose. Can you see horse, you can see bull, you can see camel in the picture? Then what did we do? We had to get stuff across water. तो वाटर के थ्रू हम कैसे जाएं? हॉर्स के नॉट गो थ्रू वाटर, कैमल के नॉट गो थ्रू वाटर. तो हमने बनाई एक बोट, अ हॉलो बिग लॉग ऑफ वुड यूज करके हमने बनाई बोट, राइट? अब हम आगे चलेंगे तो हमने क्या बनाई, हमने बनाई शाफ्ट्स बाय बाइंडिंग मल्टीपल लॉग्स ऑफ वुड। अब इसके बाद हमें लगा these floaties are not very good for us, we cannot travel long distance with this, so then we developed some boats that were similar to the shape of fish, right? इसके बाद क्या हुआ, finally we made bigger and bigger boats. Now the game changer was here, the invention of wheel. व्हील का इन्वेंशन हुआ, और जैसे ही व्हील का इन्वेंशन हुआ तो सबसे पहले हमें मिला एक स्टोन का हैवी व्हील. वी गॉट अ हैवी व्हील मेड आउट ऑफ स्टोन. देन पीपल मेड अ लाइटर व्हील मेड ऑफ वुड. इसके बाद हम इन व्हील्स को एनिमल कैरेजेस में यूज करने लग गए. एंड फाइनली देयर वाज अ टाइम until the beginning of 19th century when steam engine was invented, right? We were so dependent on animals, we were so dependent on boats and ships, but then the steam engine was invented. स्टीम इंजन इन्वेंट हुआ, हमने रेल रोड्स बनाने शुरू किए. सो सम ऑफ द बेसिक रेल रोड्स looked like this as you can see here, and the steam engine was driven by carriages and wagons. And then moving forward, जब हम आगे गए तो हमें मिले ये सारे ऑटोमोबाइल्स, स्कूटर, कार, बस एंड लॉट मोर, जो कि मोटर पे रन करते हैं एंड दे यूज फ्यूल इनसाइड देम, राइट, लाइक डीजल, पेट्रोल, सीएनजी. ऑलराइट. फिर जब हम आगे चले तो हमें पता लगा कि नाउ बोट्स